Hey, Vinny Melkus here. We're going to do another electronics video. I know I've done some in the past. We're going to do this one a little bit differently. So I know you are probably into watching tournament bass fishing, or you've seen guys out on the lake just recreational fishing or at your club tournaments, and they have, two, three graphs on the front and a couple on the console, or, vice versa. And they're all like 10-inch, 12-inch screens. We're talking anywhere from 1,600 to 5,000-6,000 a piece. You add plus the transducers. You got your live scope stuff. You got your active target. You got your 360. You got your side imaging and down imaging style transducers. It all adds up, and these guys have invested $20,000-$30,000 in electronics, and a lot of us just can't do that. And I'm here to tell you that you don't have to. You can utilize a lot of the same advanced technologies and not break the bank by doing what I do. And I'm going to show you my boat here in just a second. I'm not a guy that's going to go spend that kind of money on my own. So what I've done is I've had to minimize that investment and look for ways to cut it, but all the while getting the same technology, because I don't want to be outcompeted out there on the water, and I want to be able to catch fish. So we're going to go take a look at what I got. I'm going to put some other things together because I don't have all the brands on there. So there's other ways to get it, like if you're more 360 oriented, or you want live scope, or you want megahertz imaging. So I'll put a couple of those together and try to keep you under a certain budget, or about the lowest you could possibly go. And I'll tell you what I got mine. Now I could have gone a little cheaper, but with all the supply shortages that we've seen in the last year, I had to go to a different brand. So actually I would be more minimalized if in normal circumstances, but I'll show you what I have on there. Like I said, it's not going to be 10, 12, 16-inch graphs, but it gets the job done, and it has the technology that I need to so I can utilize on the water, that I can compete with these guys in bigger tournaments and in local tournaments, or just have fun fishing and find fish, and you just have a great time out there. All right, so here's my setup. So on my console, I went pretty light. I have an LSS2 transducer. I went with the Lowrance. Here's just an HDS7, and I found that on sale. So I got it for under where you get it priced, and you can find that stuff kind of like on eBay, or sometimes people are upgrading. But that's for Lowrance, that's their latest and greatest. I mean, it's better than the I think they got the new FS, but it's still a better unit. So what since I went with Lowrance Ghost, up front here, I have another 7. And then I went with the 7-inch Garmin, which I got on sale at a Shields, and you can get these on sale at Bass Pro. And then I just had a simple unit, and you're probably wondering what this is. So I got this one bracket for a big one, but I have this thing locked down. I hit rough water, but I'm able to lock this onto a bracket, and I can maneuver it so that I can utilize both of these graphs. And it works out perfectly, but it's a way to be cost effective. And then I got Panoptix, and I would have gone active target. Like I said, there's other ways to save money if you went active target, but at the time, supply shortages and whatnot, it's been tough. So I went with that, but I was able to get that. I mean, really, I was under $2,000 for that setup. I think I got that for actually like $300-400 bucks. Probably I think it's 300, because they had you get these things where they have where they're changing transducers, so they'll put these on sale even though the unit itself is new, or they're not changing the unit, they're changing the transducers. The Garmin has done this a few times, and I was able to get that on sale with the GT54. And then the Panoptix has been working great, so the system works great. Now people always wonder, well, can you really see it? Yes, you can see this stuff. Yeah, it's not a 10-inch 12-inch screen, but you are paying a third of the price, and you're still getting the same technology. So it just depends on how much you're willing to invest. But if you're just the average guy that doesn't have a whole lot to get into, you can still fish with this kind of stuff. Now you can do similar, like I said, I'll put it on for Humminbird, or you can go straight Garmin. It just depends on what your preference is. But I happen to have Lowrance and a Garmin unit, and it works out perfectly. But like I said, I probably looking at under roughly $3,500 total setup. So that's looking for deals and picking things up when I see them to put something together. But hey, that's more money I put to fishing tackle, tournaments, or just paying bills. So as you see, I don't have a whole lot on my boat really with electronics, and I still can utilize it. I'm still really good. I consider myself a good offshore angler, and good at using technology. I just don't have, 25, 30 grand to put into that, or nor do I want to at the moment. That's a lot of, and then you got to look at battery power as well. And I know there's other technologies like power pull charge and whatnot. That's great. But man, that's a lot of juice. But so if you look at other brands, so I had Lowrance. In reality, that's on the upper side of things when you're going to those lower units. But you can get into Humminbird and still get mega imaging for about, I think it's like $650 to $800 a unit. Just depends on what it is. You get the side imaging and you can get it down. You can combine those and get into those megahertz, get those great side imaging images. And then I'm not, too positive on the 360 thing, but I know that you should be able to hook up when they come out with their Mega Live to, some of those smaller units as well. I mean, you have to look into that. Of course, they haven't come out with their Mega Live yet. But then you go to Garmin, you can get the 7-inch screens, and you can get, they come with now the new GT56 transducer, which will give you, really great images, and you're in the, that megahertz range as well. Plus, you can hook up Panoptix I keep saying Panoptix. I said it earlier. It's LiveScope. Panoptix is the older one, and this is Panoptix LiveScope, or just LiveScope. But you can hook those various technologies. So every brand, you can get into like a cost-effective way to utilize their technology. And they all have similar technology, whether it be, one might have better megahertz side imaging, or, Lowrance doesn't really have that yet. I wish they would, but then you look at, they have really great active target. And then you got Humminbird, which their active stuff, their live sonar hasn't out yet, but they have, 360, and they have excellent mega imaging. So it just depends on what brand you prefer. But you can get into this stuff and utilize technology for under $5,000, if you ask me. And that's like, go ahead and get like a $1,500 transducer or whatever. And, so I'm saying $4,000 to $5,000, you can get that and fish with the latest and greatest. Just you need to sacrifice on screen size and maybe a few other things, and not having multiple graphs in any one spot. So there's other ways. It just depends. That's the most cost-effective way. There's other ways to do that if you want a larger screen, but then you just utilized it, that screen space for, various things that you need to use. But like, here's the other thing. So a lot of guys are using iPads for mapping systems. Well, instead of just buying one screen for mapping there, and then maybe have an iPad, you can utilize your cell phone. I use my cell phone and I use mapping. You can pull Navionics on it as well, and that seems to work. Now, are these options the best? No, they're not the best. I mean, if you had the money, you can go get the 12, 10, 12, 16-inch screens. You can get the multiple 12-inch screens to, run a screen for everything. But I don't have that a lot. Most of you don't. So even on my 7-inch screen, when I'm running side imaging, I run the bottom panel side imaging, and then the top panel down imaging, or sometimes I'll go full side or full down, just depends on the application. But, you sacrifice a little to gain the, more fishing time, because you're saving money, more tournaments, more lures, whatever the case may be, more gas money, and less things that can go wrong. So there you go. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.